generation of artists is making an old handcraft new again. Their needle and thread embroidery is unexpected and reinvented in a free-form sort of a way. Jennifer Riggs is leading the way, at least for us today, and you really are turning over kind of a new leaf, a new look, a new style. What first inspired you to pick up a needle and a hoop?
Yeah, so I actually learned when I was 8 from my grandmother, but it never really stuck. And then when I was in college, I was doing a minor in visual arts, and I thought, okay, I know how to do embroidery. I want to do textile art, so I could merge my two skills together.
I love that you're kind of pulling in that art form that was passed down to you, but reinventing it with your own style and with your own flair. What's the biggest difference, Jennifer, would you say, in this generation's embroidery art?
People are really making it their own. You know, they have their unique characteristics, and they're not afraid to play around with paint or watercolor. I personally like to pull stuff from pop culture. I actually had a hoop in my shop that said "turn down for what" until I got a cease and desist from Little John's lawyer saying you cannot sell this hoop. It's crazy.
When Little John's lawyers are reaching out to you about embroidery hoop.
It's kind of cool though. They got me on speed dial.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, you've definitely made it cool at that point. Well, can we just talk about a couple of your creations, a couple of your designs? Here I love just the contrast of the white stitching on the solid back. Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, it's kind of, you got the whole world in your hands sort of thing.
Look at that. And the curvature of the fingers, very, very cool. Down front, you've played with a little more color.
Yeah, that's bananas. Cute. I have some paint on there. Make it
cute. And the black and white here, that's stunning in its own way.
Yeah, that one's actually kind of more traditional. You know, the roses is something that's been stitched a lot over the years.
But yet the black and white gives it kind of a modern spin. So if I were to say, hey, I would love to get in on this, I would love to try this as an art form or as a new hobby, what would you recommend for the beginning embroideries, like starter kit?
Yeah, so you really only need 4 things. So the first is an embroidery needle, and those are exactly like regular needles, but they have a bigger eye opening.
Okay.
You'll need embroidery floss, and I like to use the brand DMC because they have over 400 colors, so you can get anything under the sun.
Now with floss, are there different thicknesses or weights?
Yeah, so most flosses come with 6 strands, so if you want something more delicate, you can actually split the strands. This one right here is 3, whereas this one is 6, so you can see the thicker versus the thinner.
Nice, nice.
And so the third thing you need is an embroidery hoop, and those range in sizes from 2 inches to 12 inches, so you can do the whole gamut.
Have you played with the bigger ones, the 12-inch ones?
I have. I usually just like them small.
There's something impactful kind of about the smaller size.
And then you just need fabric, and I like using a broadcloth or linen because they don't have a lot of stretch, and that makes it easier to stitch.
And do those come in a bunch of color varieties as well?
Yeah.
Okay, this is all new. This is all Greek to me, you can tell. Well, can you give me a little tutorial, a little lesson?
So today I'm going to teach you how to do the back stitch. And that is kind of one of the most basic stitches, and what it'll do is allow it to do a continuous line without any gaps.
And you're free-forming most of your creations, right?
I usually draw the patterns, and then I'll use a template to put it onto the fabric.
But freehanding those patterns, or are you tracing too?
Yeah, I draw the patterns.
Oh, yes, you do. Of course you do.
So if you want to do a risky move, we can do the curves, or you can do the straight.
No, I'll start straight. Okay. I'll play it safe.
Okay, so we're going to pull the needle in from the back, and I already have it knotted at the end.
Oh, that's just a pen. You just pen that on there. Yeah, I thought we were already on our way. I'm like, okay, and what would you like me to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna pull mine next to you so you can follow along.
Okay. And is it really as easy as up, down, up, down?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are we sure?
So we start from the back.
Yep.
And then we make a little stitch.
Down. Okay. Is that too much distance?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
So really you can do any length, but what you want is your stitches to be equal distance from each other. That's going to give it the most best look, I guess.
The best look.
Then you just do it again. And
really?
So now you're going to put that needle right at the end of the first stitch.
Wait, I double back? Oh.
Yep. Yes, perfect.
I could get into this.
It's fun, right? It's really relaxing.
I can see that. And
you get some Netflix. So there's a little bit of a gap.
I can see that. I was a little uneven.
And don't worry, I messed mine up too, so it's fine.
And what type of fabric am I working with here?
So that is a broadcloth.
A broadcloth. Okay, all right.
Yeah, if you ask for it at Joann's or anything, they'll show you a ton of colors you can choose
I think it's so funny, the juxtaposition. Here you are, so cool, hip and trendy. And when you tell people you embroider, what is their reaction?
They're like, oh, that's fun. I think my grandma does that. And I'm like, I do it too.
You're
it's
like,
fun.
I do it too. Well,
you get the Netflix going and you can just go for days.
Yeah, we like to say Studio 5. Get the Studio 5 going, Jennifer. Okay, this is super fun. Well, thank you so much for the little hands-on. And where can we see more of your work?
So you can visit my website at threadhoneydesign.com.
Okay.
And there's a link to my online store, or you can see where I'm going to be selling at in Utah locally.
Just fun to kind of peruse the options and see how the style has evolved. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.